What's going on, YouTube family? K-Souls back here with another video. Yes, I know I'm looking greasy, yeah? No shape up, no shave, beard, looking mad. Listen, I get regular shape ups, but my hair grows fast. And the only reason why I'm giving this disclaimer is because someone wrote on one of my videos, they asked me if I'm homeless.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
No, I'm not homeless. God forbid. Don't put that on me. I have a home, yeah, but I spend a lot of time in my car. And actually, even though today it's getting a bit late, but usually when I film, it's like morning or it's early afternoon, so the sun's out. And believe it or not, I get the best picture quality by just filming on my phone. Like, I don't even have to carry my equipment, my camera and lighting and all of that, and I can just get out my thoughts quickly. So I said, like, this new wave of content I've been doing, I did say that I'm just gonna come as I am and be transparent. So you'll see me in all lights, yeah, even if I look homeless. Right? But anyway, today I want to speak about a bit of content I saw online. It was on a podcast called Your Aunties Could Never. They had a special guest, Midi Oni, and basically they asked her, could be a setup question, what she thought of black men with platforms. And she replied that talking is a feminine trait and men shouldn't be doing that. Cool. I'll show you the clip later on in the video, and I'm going to also show you the contradiction in it. But before I get into that, I just want to say that, listen, I see a lot of this going on. A lot of people saying this, a lot of women saying this. Men shouldn't talk. Take away the podcast mics. They should raise the price on podcast mics. All of this, But what I say to men is, I'm happy with the space we're in. I'm happy that we're talking more. I'm happy that we're all able to sit down or listen or talk and share experiences as a man and share what we go through and open up about things and relate with one another. Yeah. The real issue is that I think women have is with the red pill content and the manosphere and all of that, because obviously that favors men. That bit of content favors men, right? That's one. Also, it goes by traditional rules and values, and it doesn't really respect the modern woman or this new world we live in. And obviously, a lot of people that are in that that produce that kind of content, yeah, they say things that trigger women. Most women, do you know what I mean? So obviously, I think because there's been a lot of that since like podcasts became a thing, there's been a lot of that kind of content, and not just that type of content. Even men that are not really part of the red pill, you really hear men's experiences with women and how they view things and whatever. And I just feel that mainly because of all the trauma women have been through with men, yeah, a lot of things we talk about and say just irk them, just triggers them, and they're calling for us to all be shut down and not be talking and all of that. But I think if you look at the bigger picture, it's actually good that men are talking and men are opening up more, because women will say it's a feminine trait and we shouldn't do it, but at the same time they'll say that men don't communicate enough. They'll say that men don't communicate enough in relationships. Like, which one is it? Which one what do you want from us?
Boom, bam, bop, bada bop, boom, pow.
And guys, this is why we can't go by what they say, because they change their mind all the time. What I will say though is, therapy is a thing, right? And what is therapy? Let's call a spade a spade. Therapy is talking, is being able to get things out of your system, yeah, and talk. And that's what this new age of men are doing. Like back in the day, a lot of men, older men, used to withhold pain. They used to go through a lot. Life was hard, and life is still hard. I'm never going to compare the two, but they think about men that like just come from the country and come to the Western world. all the things they would have had to go through, all the stuff they would have built up inside themselves. And there wasn't, therapy wasn't a thing back in the day. Mental health wasn't a thing back in the day. So men used to hold a lot of things in, and they didn't even used to really communicate with their wives or communicate at all. And they probably are the ones that created the stigma, because a lot of our fathers were out here doing a madness, yeah, breeding up different women, and they didn't have no accountability. Now we actually have accountability as men. We have to face it. When you hear and you see what a lot of men have had to go through, boys that grew up with fathers that weren't there, and you see and you hear them and you see what they go through, and you can visualize, yeah, the content's there, you start to realize what you don't want to become. You start to see what you don't want to become. You I don't know, it's like a conviction. Like, do you know what I mean? It's good to hear relatability and decide who you want to be like. Even some of this red pill content, I don't agree with everything they say. Yeah, I think they are quite extreme with it, you know. But what I will say, a lot of that content encourages men to get fit, to make their money. And if you get men that are working on their fitness, working on their money, yeah, that you're gonna get better men in the future. Do you know what I mean? And I know women will say, but what about their emotional stability and things like that? You know, all the other stuff that they'll bring up. Yes, but this is part of it. If you can't say you want a man to be in touch with the women's emotions and understand women more, but tell them they shouldn't talk because it's a feminine trait. This is what I grew up with. Like, I grew up with the programming that men don't talk, loose lips sink ships, all of that. Like, we get on with it, we firm it, we don't get emotional, gotta be strong, gotta, you know, don't talk, just continue. Yeah? And a lot of men that live like that either died early, got diseases, have anger problems, mental health issues. We can look at the consequences now. Like, do you know what I mean? There's a lot of information out there. We can look at the consequences. So even though she might have said it in a light-hearted way, yeah, and even though people just say it on the internet, it's actually a thing that people need to stop doing, because you lot don't like men that keep to themselves and don't communicate. Sometimes, listen, men are gonna talk what they want to talk. Sometimes we're gonna chat shit, and I know you can't relate to it. Sometimes we like to talk about sports. Sometimes we talk about, we're competitive, and we talk about who's stronger and who's this and you know, all of that kind of thing. And maybe you lot can't relate to it as women, yeah. What I'll say is, be careful what you ask for, because I feel like a lot of women have suffered at the hands of men that don't communicate, and men that, you know, you don't want a subdued man, or you don't want a man that there's a lot of things going on inside and he don't talk. You know, like a bottle, when it gets to the top and it's bubbling, it explodes. Don't want that. So yeah, man, I think it's dangerous to put that out there. And I also feel that there are different kinds of podcasts and content out there. Yes, there are negative pieces of content that can harm men or won't do good for men. That's cool, but there's negative everything. Do you know what I mean? But there's still a lot of good podcasts that, and men that are talking online that hold men accountable. And I don't think that was there before. Like, the thing is, we all complain about the internet, and even me, sometimes I complain about the internet because it's like the wild, wild west. But the truth of the matter is, there's some good things too. Now, listen, if yeah, for single mothers and for like boys that don't really have positive or any male influences in their life, right? It's very good that you can go on the internet, type something in, and search about some things you might want to learn about men, or search about things that men go through. Like, you can find all of this. You can find content that relate to all of this. So men should continue speaking so we can all learn off each other. If you don't have a direct mentor in life, you can have online mentors. Do you know what I mean? It's good that men are talking. That's all I'll say. To be honest, like, I've benefited from online content that I handpick carefully in terms of what I listen to. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've benefited from it. Some content has made me want to change my ways. Some content has made me want to be a better man to women. Yeah. Even you know what's good. Even when it's men and women having conversations together, even if they're arguing, hearing both sides and hearing both responses to certain things we all go through, actually help you to learn. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, man, I'm not buying that. I think men should continue speaking. I'm actually proud that men finally talk. Even road men that go by no snitching don't talk. There's a lot of road men starting podcasts. Anyway, let's watch this clip. Listen to this clip.
Black men with platforms.
Black men with
Platforms like a Kevin. Whoa, you already said Kevin Samuel saved you. I mean,
do you know what? Yeah, I think that talking is a very feminine trait in general. So when I hear a lot of black men speaking, I'm like,
the more you speak, the more I love you.
Oh, if the title for this ain't Kevin Samuel Save Me. Right?
do we need to hear you this much? Do you know what I mean?
Not really.
No,
Do we need to hear you this much?
It's payback time.
So you see that there? And they were all laughing, mocking, cool. But you know what I find funny? I just find it funny how women are allowed to have platforms and trash men. And we're just meant to shut up and take it. We're just meant to shut up and take it. Like, I don't ever hear men saying that women shouldn't have platforms. But listen, women don't know what they want. So don't take this for face value. There'll be some men that will listen to that and think, yeah, it's true, but am I talking? Nah, don't listen to it. Don't listen to that. Because let me show you this next clip of another girl.
Do women truly want men to lead, or do they want to control how he leads?
Most women want women out of men because that's what they relate to the best.
So you see it there, guys? One woman is saying that talking is a feminine trait and we shouldn't do it. The other woman is saying that women want women out of men. So they want men to get into their feminine. So if I'm listening to all of this, which one do I go with? Guys, just go with yourself. A lot of women, I won't say all of them, are just confused. That's the truth. That's the truth. They don't even know what they want themselves. Their mind changes daily, hourly, maybe every minute. Do you know what I mean? So you just got to be you. You just got to do you. And I think for men, talking is therapy. And talking changes a lot. And you will be a better man for a woman if you're able to talk. Do you know what I mean? But you see this here? That just shows you. Just shows you, man.
Wait.
And most men want men out of women.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
No, I don't really agree with that one there. I don't think men want a man out of a woman or a masculine woman. Nah, that's what we don't want. Do you know what I mean? I just think the lines get blurry because we get a little bit confused. Sometimes we don't understand you lot. Do you know what I mean? And that's just what it is. But I think most heterosexual men do want a feminine woman. That's what we love. That's what we like. We want that. And, we want to look after that. We don't want you to step into your masculine. Do you know what I mean? It's just that the lines get blurry, like, that's all.
Wait.
Because that's what they relate to the best. Unfortunately, most women that are unaware or entitled women, the way that they want their men to show up is how they would want them to show up because they haven't released control because they're actually still very much inside of their masculine. So as an example, and oftentimes men pull women out of their feminine into their masculine, and women want to pull men out of their masculine into their feminine. They want them to feel, they want to know all of the things because femininity ultimately is always testing for, do you love me? Do you appreciate me? Are you here? Are you present? It's all a test. A perfect example of, let's say, a man and a woman. Femininity does not keep track of anything. Femininity very much lives in the now. Masculinity lives based off of the track, right? What has been said or done in the past.
I don't agree with that part. I don't think men are the ones that really keep a track record. I think we operate in the now, and we always want to deal with whatever the situation is now and move forward. I think it's women that tend to keep track records, especially of the negative things that you've done as a man. Like, they will bring it up. I like to call them hard drives. Like, women know when it's time to tell you how bad you've been or things you have done wrong, they've got a list stored and they can fluently say it. Like, they don't even have to think about it. Do you know what I mean? I was having a conversation with one of my friends, and we was talking about this, how women are very good hard drives. Like, they don't forget anything, yeah? And he was saying that it's mad because when you're like in an argument and you may have had a point, the moment they start bringing up stuff from the past, it spins you and you start stuttering and getting confused because you have to now go back to those instances, remember how to defend yourself or remember it, even though you're talking about a whole different thing when the disagreement started. But now you got to think of the past. You got to start thinking of different things and you get all confused and you start stuttering and you look like you're losing the battle because it seems like they know what they're talking about and you don't. And it just spins you. It was a funny conversation still. But anyway, it's common, basically, because me and my friend were relating on that.
As an example, let's say that a man wants to lead and he's been doing a perfect job at leading. But the moment that he's not able to do that, she's like, oh my God, does he love me? Am I safe? What's going to happen? What's going on? We're disconnected. All of these things are happening because she feels the now. Whereas he is very much like, I've been paying every bill. I've been showing up powerfully, but something happened and now there's a change. Look at my track record. And so what happens is he gets upset with her because he's like, don't you see all the stuff that I've done in the past? Instead of meeting her where she's at. True leadership is able to see that feminine energy is overreacting and saying, baby, I can understand that this is scary right now. And I'm really sorry that you feel that way. And I'm going to figure this out. But this is what has to happen right now. So instead of now, when you say, don't you see that I did the whatever? Now you're pulling her into her masculine. Oh, well, no, I don't see it. And you I don't want to hear about before. I want to hear about right now. So I think when people understand that femininity lives in the now and masculinity almost lives via track record, both are trying to pull each other into something that they're not. So most women say that they want their man to lead, but don't feel comfortable to give it to him. That's just the reality for most people.
Yeah.
Men want women to be logical. Women want their men to be emotional.
Right.
And that goes against the nature of who we are.
Of course.
Honestly, for me, I feel like I'm far more logical than I am emotional, which is why I don't take things personal. Femininity takes things personal because everything is in the now. You said you were going to pick up the kids and now I have to go pick up the kids and get dinner. It's like, dang, I'm taking everything personal. Logic says, you know what? You forgot. I understand that you forgot. It's not your fault. You've had a long day. I've had a long day. I'm frustrated. You're frustrated. Let's make it better together. But most women are not logical. They're emotional.
Right.
We're wired that way.
I'll be honest, I do agree with the last part. She was right the way she summed it up. I would just say that when it comes to the track record, I hear what she meant, even though I made a joke about it before and I was saying that women are the hard drives, which is true. I hear what she's saying. She's basically saying that it's like when a man's reputation is what makes the man kind of, you build your reputation. People know you as something, and that's that. So naturally, we might say, look at our track record. Have I not got you? Have I not done this? Have I not done that? But notice how we'll say it in defense. Yeah? So that shows you that they're the ones that will bring up the history. And even if you have been doing good in the past or you have done, they usually focus on the negative. So you now find yourself having to prove that track record. So I wouldn't say that's men purposely bringing women into the masculine. I think sometimes we're just defending ourselves and that's it. And if that's, I think defending yourself is a human thing because women would do the same too. So yeah, man. But I hear what she's saying, and yeah, she ended on a good one. She ended on what we all know: women are more emotional, men are more logical. But to sum up, what I would say now is that the only way relationships will work in this 2025 moving forward is if men and women both have grace for each other. You know, that's it. I don't care what men say, what women say, what people are saying on podcasts, the red pill, all of that. Wherever you are at in life, if you get with someone, the only way it's going to work is having grace. You got to understand your partner, and whatever you got. So whatever your partner's personality and character is, if you honor your commitment, you have to get used to that person and learn them and learn their triggers and what makes them happy, and learn how to deal with them. As long as men and women have grace for each other, then you can make anything work. Do you know what I mean? And I think this message is more for people that are in situations where they can't just leave. Because what I would say is the first thing you should do before you get with any girl, especially with everything we hear now, or any man, is, get to know them. Spend time knowing them. Know them at their worst, know them at their best. Yeah? So you equip yourself for, if you have a long-lasting relationship, you're now equipped to know how to deal with that person. That's the best thing you could do before you get serious with someone. But if you're now already there, and maybe, because women do change, and even men, like, life could happen and things could change in your character, your personality, whatever. So if you are now with someone, and especially if you've invested so much and you've got all these things, like all these businesses, investments, houses, all of this stuff, instead of just like throwing it away because of pride and ego, have grace, and learn how to deal with that person. Of course, there are certain points where breakup is a must, like infidelity, abuse, things like that. But if you're just not seeing eye to eye, try therapy, communicate. Don't listen to what they say online. Communicate. You get me? And but all I'll say is the only way relationships are going to work, because even if I go by traditional values, even if I say women should be doing this, men should be doing this, we live in a day and age where it's not that anymore, man. Let's cut all the crap and call a spade, fam. Like, let's life is not the same. It's not traditional no more. And I support traditional values, but I'm also aware of the society we live in. I think there's a war against heterosexual black men, but I'll save that for another video. That's another video. We'll get into that. But for now, because I know of all of these things, I just think people should, if you are heterosexual, find someone, that's a good person, and have grace for each other. And you can still have a good relationship in 2025, moving forward. 2025 and the later years. You get me? Anyway, that's me. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm out.